Now, seem to recall, too, that you also helped with the design at the Washington Monument.
Well, I did the concept drawings for what they've just finished now. When you enter the Washington Monument, there's kind of a lobby, and you really go to get the elevators there. And the big show there is to get to the top and see the view. But I always felt, when I went there, I was given the job to do exhibits there. And I said, we shouldn't have exhibits here. We should spend money on an elegant entry. You know, you've arrived at one of, you know, the nation's most precious and most exciting monuments. And it was more like a men's locker room in Hawaii, because what had happened had never been completed. They had done a few things with nice tile floors for the centennial and things like that, but they had lowered the ceilings in the 50s with, you know, kind of acoustic tile down to 10 feet. Very, you know, like you feel like a mouse going. And I discovered on top of it there's another 20 feet. And, you know, since it's an Egyptian obelisk anyway, why don't we go back to the architect's concepts and even what the ancients did? Now, of course, Washington isn't buried there, so it wouldn't be a tomb like Napoleon when they did in Invalides in the church. They dug a hole in this because the sarcophagus is there. But it's a place of arrival, certainly, and you anticipate going up. And now, also, the other designers carried on after myself, and they had some other some contract architects do the final design, but I had the concept design. And it's very exciting to see that. They have a statue of Washington. At night, the doors of the elevator are open. You look right through and see the statue of Washington. And it has the status it deserves. You know you've arrived at a place, a special place, not the locker room.
So, do you enjoy, after your career with the Park Service, being the mayor of one of the more historic towns in West Virginia?
Well, it was a big surprise. It certainly is. And you meet a lot of interesting people, as you know. You were here with us when the president and vice president were here a couple of weeks ago. And we have people from Germany, all over the world that come here. They're interested in the beauty, and they're interested in the history, the industry, the Civil War, the John Brown story, and story of Stowell College also. It's one of the latest. The Park Service originally was just going to do the early part up to John Brown's raid in 1858, but they decided to go into the 19th century, where people like this house. This was built by a merchant in 1908. It's a Sears Roebuck house, and Stowell College, of course, was built right after the Civil War, using buildings there. And they're bringing people up to date because it's a live town, and that's what's nice about Harpers Ferry. Real people live here, and the real politics go on here, and families grow up here, and it's not like Williamsburg that shuts down at 5 o'clock kind of thing, although some things could say they don't really shut down at 5 because they're fringes. But Harpers Ferry, a balance has been met with Park Service needs, I think, and the goals are the same for the town and the Park Service, to share a wonderful monument.
Does it help the fact that you work for the Park Service? Does it help in your job to be
Oh, I think it has. At first it didn't, because there was a lot of animosity with people here, because there was some land takings and things early on the C&O Canal in the park, and were people compensated properly or not. I'm not sure. That was before I got here. But also there's rumors, though, the Park Service is going to take over the town. You know, forget it. Why fix up your house? They're going to take it anyway. Well, I don't think that's true, and I think with the economy the way it is now, the best thing for historic towns to do is to have a partnership with the Park Service, and both together solve the problem. There'd be less money spent of the taxpayers' money. It's a joint venture with private citizens and the park to show an area. That's my feeling. I think that Harpers Ferry has done, and it helped with my research on. I think we had a preservation platform. That's why I got elected. I was interested in keeping the old streetlights, for instance, and different ordinances having to do with the original materials.
Well, I thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And when we come back,